Hi, it's Xanthe here. I want to kind of share some of my creative inspiration for my, what will probably be my last painting of the year. Please excuse me if you can hear the fan in my room, it is very hot. I've prepped another canvas. I was thinking of this composition portrait rather than landscape format. I was thinking of painting a bellbird. Sort of been in the works for ages. It's kind of interesting because when I was going through just sorting out a few photos and things, one of the photos I'd taken of a bellbird came up and said 8 years ago or something like that. So I've got two quite good photos that I've taken of bellbirds, which I'll use as my reference pics, but they're landscape format, so I kind of could go with it, but I kind of just exploring the themes a little bit, thinking about some possibilities, and I was just doing a little bit of research, you know, just on the internet can be quite helpful, so just as far as just looking up about the bellbird, so I was thinking perhaps maybe some Maori design elements. I have done this before in paintings, but I do get, because I have mixed Maori and European ancestry, I do get people who basically consider me to be too brown to be Dutch and too white to be Maori, and this is what you get when you mix your two. You're not enough of this or that, it's just a bit ridiculous. And recently I was actually mocked by strangers because they were actually mocking a lady with lighter colouring than me, and you know, just saying, well, she can't be Maori because she's got blonde hair or whatever. And but it just made me think about how people will be so judgmental and all of that. But anyway, I kind of wanted to, when I went through and backed up some photos recently, there's a photo there of my nana. She liked to weave, do traditional flax weaving, and I was thinking perhaps maybe the flax pattern, the flax weaving, maybe putting a border along it, because the bellbirds are both on flax flowers. Then when I was doing some research, I was coming across some Maori proverbs, so I'd like to read those out in the translations. It's probably AI generated, so if it's incorrect, I could not be 100% if it's incorrect or not, but I'm going to try. So when you're speaking Maori language, it's basically 5 vowels. The A, E, I, O, U, A, E, I, O, U are pronounced A, E, or U, and then there's also a long vowel, so A, E, or U, and let's just read out some of these proverbs. So the bellbird in Maori language, or te reo, is ko mako or kori mako. The flax stalk or flower stalk is called korari, so that's got the long O there, so korari. And the flax plant is called harakeke. So yeah, my nana used to just go nuts over flax and just want to, but apparently there's a way that you want to harvest it that you don't you know, kill off the plant, because you want to be able to keep harvesting it again. So anyway, let's have a look at some of these proverbs. I have them here. Oh, I've got them on 2 different pages. oh, which page did I have flicking through the tabs? Here we go, I think it was this one. So we've got I'm trying my best with pronunciation. I'm not 100% fluent, so let's just give it a go. He rite, ki te, ko para, e ko, nei I, te ata. So it says translation, just like a koromako, which is the bellbird, singing at dawn, and it's to praise singers and orators for their beautiful and clear voices and speaking skills. Because if you're familiar with Maori tradition, the singing and this speaking is very important. So I think that to me, you know, that's could, if you sum it up in one word, will be voice. So the bellbird's got a beautiful song. Anyway, so we're going to read out another proverb. I don't know if it was, I've got a different version here, so you know, you don't trust AI to get everything right? So kind of just try our best. I've got two versions here, but suspicious about the accuracy. But there's one here that I wrote down before. It was hu te rito o te hara ke whaia te ko mako e ko. So the translation of that was, if the heart of the flax bush is removed, where will the bellbird sing? And apparently that is to do with the importance of nurturing community, future generations, strong connections amongst people. So I guess if you had one word, it could be community, or I was going to write the word connection here. So I'm just writing down just a few ideas of themes. So we've got voice, we've got connections, and there was another version which completely different language, so I don't know word for word. I recognise some words and some phrases, but I'm not fluent. Okay, so there's another one here. It said, he iti te kōpara ka rerere I te puhi, it's P-U-H-E, o te kahikatia. So when you have the vowels, you kind of, you know, say each one, but merge them together a little. So it says, translation, though the bellbird is small, it can reach the crown of the kahikatia. So the kahikatia is the tall white pine. It's the tallest, I think, native tree here in New Zealand, or Aotearoa. So it's supposed to be aiming high, overcome great challenges, to reach to the top of a tall tree, strive for their goals, regardless of their size or initial limitations. Yeah, so that one in particular makes me feel quite emotional. I'm just going to put a big star by that. Just going to close down the laptop. So I've transferred over to my tablet to use as a reference. I'll choose my palette because I like to do a different palette for every painting. So obviously the bellbird's kind of like olive green. So I'll choose some pigments which will mix the olive green plus go nicely with the flax flowers, which are sort of a golden yellow. And you know, there's heaps of different ways that you could mix olive green. But yeah, I think that, I mean, I do end up improvising when I'm doing the painting process, but, you know, no hurry, but it's probably like last painting of the year that I will do. What else do I want to say about this? Oh, about the, one of the words about the limitations and stuff. I was just reflecting recently about how I've talked about this before on my mental health channel, Bipolar Courage. I don't have a high output as an artist because I do have limitations with disabilities. I have impairment from bipolar disorder and post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, which is considered to be classified as a mental injury from trauma, which I don't want to, you know, rehash what the trauma is, etc. But it's been treated as far as it can be treated with medications and therapy. But doing the art has given me a sense of purpose. I don't sell tons of it. I sell the odd piece here and there, but I don't produce tons of it either. So my goal for the last few years has been, well, initially it was at least one painting per month. Now I've been aiming for at least 2 paintings per month. And because I'm on a low income, so I have to consider, you know, the cost of materials and stuff, you know, buying canvases and paint and stuff like that. And I, when I was at a really, really low place in my life, how many years ago? Whatever, yeah, it would have been about 8 years ago, so around the time I took the bellbird photo, I basically, what the clinicians call it decompensated really bad. That I wasn't able to work at all. Now I work about 8 hours a week. It's a part-time job as well. I was unable to just do normal stuff at all. And so I couldn't drive, I couldn't fill out a basic form, I couldn't do a lot of this sort of stuff. And what kept me alive at that time was to set myself a ridiculous goal that I was going to have an art exhibition. It was ridiculous because my art was a mess. I couldn't even paint, you know, tidy. And I was finding it therapeutic, but I had no funds to, you know, do the exhibition process. Some people in the art community gave me some mentoring kind of thing, and I ended up getting just a small grant, just applied for a small amount just to buy some art materials. I was using paint at a dad's garage and cardboard and bits of MDF that he had in his garage. I was doing my art on that. I pitched it as an artist therapy exhibition. It was accepted, and it happened, solo art exhibition. A few years later I had a second one, and the first one I didn't even put prices on the art because I thought people would judge it as just not good enough. So people just tendered for it, and the second time it was kind of like finishing the process of just showing the progression, plus also just pricing the art. And some people were saying, oh, you've priced it too low, but generally I sold my art between 50 to 200 New Zealand dollars a piece. But one little tiny one I did, this elderly lady walked in, and it had a tiny little easel and everything. She says, "Can I buy this for $10? And I said yes. You know, she walked out with it in her pocket. It just was very, very stressful doing the process of the solo exhibition. My dad actually helped me with, because he's a carpenter by trade, figuring out how to hang the pieces that were just on cardboard or MDF or whatever, and you know, building some supports or something for them with just materials that he had in his garage. I've actually still got the acrylic inks and used them that I bought with some of the fund money, because I had to spend it on art materials, right? Acrylic inks. Now, my dad died 2 years ago. This is coming up as the third Christmas without Dad. Been painting more, I think, just processing grief and loss, and because I also write, but I haven't really felt very motivated to write much lately. I've taken part in 3 group exhibitions with my paintings, and then in between I just, you know, entered 1 or 2 pieces in other group exhibitions. So it is quite challenging for me to produce enough art. It's exhibiting currently approximately every 6 months, and there's no guarantee that we'll sell anything. But anyway, it's just some of my journey.